I was just trying to set up my computer. Plus, I was trying to look for my charger. So
Ah,
that's
okay.
yeah.
Okay. We are live now. It will like some minutes before people come to start. Hi, Joe. Thanks so much to accept our invitation, and we get in contact with you through your ex mate that you play together, Martin Mojano. And
This,
at the end of the interview, I normally ask, who could you suggest me, a very interesting person to speak with? And they say, by enemy, Joe Rokocoko. They say, one of the best guys I played with. So thanks so much.
no worries. It's good to be here.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
I know Bush does really well. He's the. I think they want to put a statue up for him. He's like the king of Bayonne at the moment. So, very good person. So it's been a long time I've seen him. So I'm going down. Maybe during maybe next month to go for a road trip around France, and
Nice.
maybe we'll pop over to see him for a coffee.
Nice, nice. He had a good kick, huh? He had a good drop goal and good
Yeah, I
kick.
think he really. Most people wouldn't want to do the kick, but I think it was perfect for him. He liked that kind of moment. I remember watching it on TV here, and I knew he was. You can see his body language. He wasn't shaking. He said, "Yes, this is for me, and I'll take it." And yeah, what a kick! What a way to finish off.
Nice, nice. Okay, Joe, I really don't know how to start. I'm so honored to have you here, but I have an idea. I think that the best presentation I can make of you, it is what you make by yourself when you are, for example, in your Instagram account and so on. And when I was reading it, I was wow, that's something because you wrote about yourself. It is very interesting when people have to present themselves. Yeah, and you put at first believer,
Yeah.
husband and father of three boys. By the way, yesterday I saw a little video of one of yours playing rugby. Wow.
The busy boys, busy boys.
Yeah, a former pro rugby player, All Blacks 1032, born in Fiji, born in Nadi, Fiji, raised South Auckland, New Zealand, living in France. So I think you found a perfect way to define yourself. But
Yeah, I think you try to tell your whole story in a few lines, and you tell your journey in a few points, and what you stand for in life, and where you come from, and where you are at the moment. So that's the whole view of myself right now.
so let's start from first because it catch my attention that you put believer at first place, and then we will speak about your career and so on. But how important was for you to be a believer in your life?
I think for especially for Pacific Island players, religion is big, and believer in everything. Faith is faith and religion is very big in the Pacific. And when you're small, that is your value, your foundation as a young boy growing in the Pacific, because it keeps you straight. Keeps you focused, and it gives you a way to speak to people, and the way to treat people is very important for us. Learning the teaching from my parents and in the Pacific is very big, and believing in, for myself, as believing in God is very big for myself, especially for my career, my
Yeah.
family, because I want to the way that God treats people. I want to treat people the same, with love, with respect. With when tough times come in our lives, we don't dread on it. We take with the challenge with a smile and accept it. And it's been a key for me in my career. And try to pass it on to my children. And I don't think if I was a believer, I wouldn't be where I am today, or especially these last few months of COVID-19 has been tough all over the world. But I've had a lot of peace and faith that everything's all right, and to count your small blessings. You're still breathing. You still have family time. Sometimes we look too much on the problems outside and appreciating what we have in front of us. And so for me, being a believer is important. And I'm not the perfect person. Being a believer is not the perfect person. But the good thing is we've learned the grace of God. He always forgives, and he's always there and being by our side and supporting us.
No, I think it can help a lot. So everyone live it in your own way, but I had the chance to interview 2 days ago Gustavo Zerbino, one of the survivor of the airplane that crashed in Chile. Yeah, the rugby team.
Well, that was a story, eh?
Yeah, that was a story. Yeah, and I think that believing in something, he helped them a lot, and Okay, I just wanted to start from there, not because I'm really a big believer, maybe the opposite, but it catch my attention to see the first definition that you put on your description, and I liked it. I wanted to start from there.
Yeah.
But Joe, you was born in Fiji, yeah?
Yes.
So do you remember? Every time I start with those speech, I make the first question the same. Do you remember your first day of rugby? Maybe not, because I think in Fiji they gave you a rugby ball when when you born the same day or the second one.
I just remember because yes, I still remember. So before leaving, going to New Zealand, I was 6 years old. So before that, I was all living in the village, but I still remember parts of my life that being that young when so our village is it's a circular formation, and you have the houses built all around this one little grass patch of green of grass in the middle. Then you have all the houses built around the edges, and I always just remember going out and seeing all my cousins and friends throwing the ball around. And I remember in our village there was a rule: if it rained during that day, no one was allowed to play in the middle, because a lot of kids playing in the middle, and it makes all the ground, it kills the grass and it gets all muddy. And my grandfather was the chief of the village, and we only go and play in the middle if he will go to town. So when he went, we weren't allowed to play, and it was raining, and we were running, sliding, diving in the mud, throwing the ball around. And I remember him coming back from town with his car, and all the kids disappeared and ran away. And I remember him telling every single child to come to my house to get a smack. That's why I still remember it, because I never forget getting a smack from playing on the ground when it's too muddy. But that's all. That's the earliest I remember as a kid, being 5 years old, running and throwing. We used to play. It still goes on now. We call one touch. It's now we've seen teams and professional teams, they use it now. They call it Fijian touch. So
Yeah.
Obviously, one touch game we used to do, and going back to the village now, when you drive along Fiji, you still see them play it. So it's
and that's a fantastic game, no? Very propedeutic for rugby sevens. It is really nice, no?
It's really nice, especially when you're trying to keep the ball alive. You got one opportunity, you get touch, you give the ball away. So, and some of the times when you just go past the road, you see players, and there'll be like so many players, like maybe 50 on 50 with one ball, because it's 20 on 20 or whatever. There's so much people that love to play, but the skill set of getting the ball away, offloading, or keeping the ball alive, so you don't die with the ball. Yes, sometimes you might get the odd forward passes because it's so fast and everyone's just throwing the ball everywhere. But it makes you think. It makes you create opportunities when there's no opportunities. So creating something out of nothing.
Yeah, it's very nice. By the way, it's something that I use a lot when I coach my kids. I like it very much. For 7, especially, it is very, very nice. But you were very small at the time, because not small in size, but you were a child, because you left Fiji when you were 5. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 going on to 6. My father got a job opportunity in New Zealand.
Okay.
Electrician, and he air conditioning as well. So he went across a few months before us to get settled, and we made the move. And still remember just saying bye to all my cousins and aunties and uncles. Me thinking it was just a little trip, first time to New Zealand and come back, but I didn't actually know we were. As a child, you don't know you're moving there for good. So yeah, I'm grateful. That's why, as you can see on the description of myself and on the Instagram, raised in New Zealand, South Auckland. Yes, I'm from Fiji, but I appreciate what New Zealand has given me from a young child, and the opportunity it's given myself and my family. So I still appreciate where I've been from, and it's hard when people say, "Where are you from?" So
What do you say? What do you say?
no, I never know. So me and my wife is from Fiji too. She was raised in Fiji, but we tend to look at each other and go, "Where are we from?" We would just so one day. So sometimes we say we're from Fiji. Sometimes we're from New Zealand. We'll say New Zealand if no one knows where Fiji is. But we're Fijians. We're Fijians, but we lived most of our life in New Zealand.
I understand you fully, because I'm born in Italy. Then I lived 15 years in Lithuania, and now I'm in Spain. I'm in Barcelona, which, by the way, is a good remember for you. I was at the pitch at the Camp Nou that day that you decide like to chip kick Brian Obama.
Yes. Oh, good. Yeah.
That was an amazing try, an amazing day, an amazing match, by the way. I wanted to speak about that later, but because it came out now, I can ask you now. It was a miracle. And after 20 minutes, I think that no one would bet a cent that you will win the game. It was incredible.
I still remember, it's incredible. It's just, I think you don't think too much how big it was playing in Camp Nou until afterwards, because you're so focused into the game. You don't realize too much of where you play and the people. Because throughout the whole week you're just training in Paris, and the place then a few days after you fly to Barcelona, and then you're there. Then you don't realize how big it is until when you walk out for coffee the day before the game, and it's just blocked. There's a lot of people moving around so unusual to see a lot of people walking around of Barcelona with rugby jerseys, because obviously no one knew who was going to be in the final. Majority of those spectators and fans, they already bought their tickets knowing it was going to be in Camp Nou. Doesn't matter who's going to be, they wanted to be at that place at the moment, or first time in history, to have a rugby match there, let alone 90,000, 95,000 plus spectators watching a rugby game in Spain, in Camp Nou. That's unheard of. And for us going into that game, we remember just driving, just see all the people from all the top 14 rugby jerseys, your La Rochelle, your Toulons, your Stade Francais, all the teams from France, because they knew there was such a special moment just being there. And remember driving to the bus, it was just so full, so packed. It almost looked like we were going to a soccer match. I'm going into
Yeah, Joe, I remember getting in the tube to come to the stadium, and the tube, it was full of French people chanting La Marseillaise all together. No matter if you were Racing or Toulon, all together chanting La Marseillaise. I still have the video of that.
I still remember. I think maybe 60% of those people were neutral people, neutral supporters. They were just there, and they had to choose a flag. You know, you had your red and you had your blue. So they just picked up two flags, I guess, and whoever was winning, they'll lift the flag up and change the flag. But it was not. I remember going down the captain's run the day before and just realizing how big the stadium is, and not knowing that because every time I went to Barcelona, I've been there 2 times before that, and I never got a chance to actually do the tour of Camp Nou. So that was my actual first time, and seeing how massive this Colosseum was, and you know, when you go out to the warm up, you don't see this. You see the seats full, but not as full. Then you come back in, and you go back out, and you just see the amount of people then. And the noise was spectacular. But again, you don't focus too much on that. You just focus on what's your first job, and that's touching the ball, catching the ball. Or it might be a clean out or whatever. That was my first focus. And that 20 minutes when we got, when we received the red card. Actually, I didn't know we got the red card. So when Max got penalized and he was getting called in, I turned around and I was walking back, and I go, okay, we're going to get penalized. So I was walking back to cover the kick in case they kicked, and I didn't see the red card. So when it was going on to 10, then it went to 15 minutes and 20 minutes, and it was going to 1. When is Max coming back in? He's been there for the ref. He's gone too long, you know. He's been goes, no, he's a red card. I was like, what? You got a red card? And I was like, oh, shucks, mate.
Really? You didn't realize that at first? Incredible.
No, because I just thought, okay, it's going to be other cards. So I walked around, and I was realizing. And so we walked in at halftime. I was just like, man, how are we going to do this? And but we had this buzz, you know, it was a challenge. And I still remember seeing and looking in the sideline, and these are the 2 halfbacks teaching one Imhoff where to put the ball. They were going through what to do or how to play number 9. And
it was as well a good like leadership of sign of Imhoff. Who think, okay, I'll take care, no problem.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe I prefer him than me because the passes could have went up the roof if I went to halfback. But
you were the second choice. You were the second choice.
I'm glad I wasn't number 9 because if he had to kick, the kick could have went the other way. So they went for a safe option, went to 1, and I remember talking to our key players, our number 10s with Dan, and. You can see that in his face, the responsibility has been put upon him, but he was up for the challenge. And so we spoke a little bit. Okay, we can share a little bit. If you come to my side, I can play 9. We swap roles, and if the ball comes to your side, you keep playing halfback, and you can play that side, play 9 at that side, and so, but he done well. So everyone just stepped up to the plate. Everyone took the responsibility. There was another challenge. We were really excited for the big challenge, playing in a big final like that, and there was another thing thrown at us. Okay. And I think what really helped us is the semi-final we played before. We went on extra time. We went up to 90 minutes game.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
The one scoring the try. So mentality of, we could do things. We've been trained mentally, and being in that, we've seen this before, this challenges before that. So, it worked out well for us, and history was there and opportunity.
But then you score an amazing try. So when you had the ball there and you saw a man in front of you, did you thought, okay, I'll make an hands off and I'll run, or it came naturally to kick a chip kick? on him, and
I wasn't thinking of kicking. The first thing I think, if you see it, I was just so eager to get the ball in my hand. You can just see me clap when I get. If you see me in the field, I get a habit of clapping. Even when we do drills, I always clap. It's almost like saying I'm ready, or you're telling your hands to wake up and get ready to catch, to focus, clap, hands up. So I can do that. I was clapping so many times. I'm telling who was in front of me, Goosen to get the ball away, because I hadn't touched the ball for a long time. All I've been doing was cleaning rucks, chasing, and there was
just give me the fucking ball. I want to run.
Just give me one ball, please, just to touch. And the adrenaline just kicked in. So I knew there was a forward in front of me. So I wanted to hesitate, and obviously the old Fijian goose step we normally do is just to. I know I had a short space, so I had to just delay his run and trying to smash me, because I knew he was right close. So just to give me time to take off again. And then Habana just came out of nowhere. It was all fast, it's just sudden. He's there, what do you do? I knew Goosen was on my inside, but at the same time I'm looking at the back, and there was space at the back. So obviously when the kick went, and I was telling in my head, you're gonna bounce back. So I was telling the ball, you're gonna come back. Come back. So
and the ball listened to you.
The ball listened. First time in how many years? Finally listened. The ball bounced back. Caught it, but at the same time I can see it almost bouncing back. I can see fullback Halfpenny coming on my left side. So I was looking at the ball, but I wasn't expecting to get tackled, so I was getting ready just to catch pass, because I could see him coming. So by the time I was trying to catch the ball, I was still waiting for him to get close, and because I knew Goosen, the guy that passed to me, already was inside me, so I was just gonna get a tackle pass, offload inside. But lucky enough, since I didn't touch the ball the whole game, I still had a few percentage of running legs to get me through over. And when I actually went around the post, once I won the ball, my first job was just put the ball down. In that moment, put it safely. So if you see it, I generally could have. It's the safest I've put a ball in my whole life. Normally, I just casually dive or what so forth. Yeah. So if you see it, it's the first time I actually kind of focus on putting the ball down slow. Like wasn't slowly, but it seemed too slow. So
you was telling to yourself, don't do any shit, Joe. Don't do any shit.
The last thing you want to do out in front of 90-something thousand people at Camp Nou with one job, final. This is going to be replayed how many more years of you killing you with one job you had to do? Your finisher, not a ruler. So that's the first time in my life the whole focus was just put the ball down, make sure it's, because my teammate was coming, Albert Bully. He got closer than the actual defender. So he came across, and I wanted to go closer, but he was almost like, if I even get closer, we might actually hit each other, then the ball will go out. So that's why I just made sure I just put it down before. And
And that was nice. For all of us who were watching the day, it was a really incredible day. It was like, first of all, it was like an all-star game. There were plenty of really superstars playing that match. I had the chance some weeks ago to interview Guirado, who was in that match, but then there was you, Halfpenny, really, Abana, really, it was incredible. And of course, Dan Carter, who is older than you, but still playing. Because
he's had about 3 years of injuries, and he's had a lot of time to recover. So I would give him a hard time about it. He's catching up now. All the times he's missed with us. So, he's a machine.
He
He's
went back. He went back in the Blues, no, where you played as well.
weird as that. Out of all teams, he went to the Blues. I remember telling someone that I saw that on the phone, and I thought my phone I had to refresh just to make sure it wasn't something virus on my phone or something. And I go, nah, what month? I still couldn't believe it. Yes, if it was another team, but the Blues, the rivalry between the Blues and the Crusaders is big. So no, it can't be. So I actually checked the month. I knew it was in June, but I was like checking the month to make sure it was June because I thought it was April Fool's Day or something, Is it April today or is it June? Because this can't be right.
This cannot be.
It cannot be. But yeah, mate. And I looked at his interview. You see how comfortable he was, He's wearing the blue jersey. He's holding his arm, and he's moving around. It's the first time I've seen an uncomfortable Dan Carter talking in the media with a Blues jumper on. So I was laughing in my head. So not good on him. It just shows what a person he is, because that would be the last team he wanted to play for. Crusader, I would never get to the Crusader, but if he had to choose any other team, he's a strong Cantabrian man, and his father always told him make sure he never played for Auckland Blues. When I remember watching his documentary, didn't know that until because they're so proud rugby team, and he's seen that they've been so successful, and for him to go to the Blues out of all teams that he doesn't want to be, to be a part of, just shows that it was bigger than rugby.
It was family. It was family, yeah. Most of them.
Family. They live in the town, and there was a friend they asked for young men, rugby men in Auckland, trying to share his knowledge and his experience throughout the world. And these boys, he might not play. He might play 2 games or a game, but the impact that he's shown just by going across and the training with these young boys will make them grow and believe in themselves to say, man, if Dan Carter can believe in this team, I should, I have more belief in this team and belief in myself that it can be a great, successful Blues franchise.
And by the way, he looked quite good in Waterboy, no? As a Waterboy with Umaga by side.
Yeah, must be gold water. It's very special water in that one. So very the most expensive water boys in the world, I guess, with him and Tana. But yeah, what's how awesome is to have a person like that, bring the water, and not only bring the water, but just give you tips and give you some advice during the game, especially when times are going tough.
Yeah, Joe, I have of course some questions coming here for you, and I had some on yesterday as well that they gave to forward to you, and one of those I liked it very much because it was more than one people asking me that, and it was everyone is telling me that it was always like it looks like you had a lot of fun playing rugby, and everyone is telling me this. Is telling me, "Oh, ask him if it was all the time like that." You are speaking now about diving into the line and so on, and it looked like from out that you ever had a lot of fun playing rugby. It was all the time like that, or there was as well some like tough periods, or
It's a good question. Most importantly, it's if you're having fun, and that's the whole thing you do the sport in the first place. As that's the reason why when I was a kid I didn't want to listen to my grandfather and go in the field and play, and it was muddy and wet, because it was the enjoyment of pure fun of playing with your family, playing with your friends, and enjoying yourself. And there's moments that I've lost the fun during my whole career, and maybe one of them was just before making to New Zealand Sevens. Um, I had played a lot of representative rugby teams for age groups from under 18s, under 16s to 18s to 19s to 21s, and that was before sevens. So I had a lot of, and I didn't want to play New Zealand Sevens and play sevens because I just was so tired, and the fun got out of me. That was the first time I actually wasn't enjoying it. Um, I wasn't. And then my father took me down and said maybe you should just finish rugby and rest after before going to sevens, because I didn't enjoy it. And we had a bit of a difference between my father about giving you 100%. He thought I was just sometimes during that time I was getting lazy and complaining a lot, but I was just so tired. And I think it was a good turning point because he learned that he actually looked back to what I had been playing and training for these years. It'd been so much. I lost the fun there, which was really good moment because my father came back and said, if you're not enjoying it, don't go and play. Wait till you enjoy it, have fun. Don't feel pressured for me. To always try to play your best. You do what you do. So for me, that was a great comment from my father. A good time, and started playing again. And I faked an injury for the sevens. We had a trial. We had two opportunities to go to under 21s in under 19s to Italy. I think it might have been Italy World Cup.
Yeah, I remember.
I was going to do sevens, and I wanted to go with my friends. And under 19s and the sevens, I was just too much. I was too professional. I wanted to just have fun. And under 19, be with my boys, guys who and I faked an injury. The sevens trainer tested me, and how's your quad? I blew my quad, and I said, nah, I don't think it's good. He done a test, and I said, nah, being so young, I had to go. So I jumped in the car. I was driving back home, and my mother rang up. She goes, "Oh, how did your test go, son?" They were excited for me to New Zealand Sevens, and I said, "Oh, not good, mom. I think I'll just stay another week and go with the 21s." And my mom, I remember my mom saying, "Oh, it's okay, son. We'll be part of you no matter what. We'll still help you to get what if as long as you try your best, and we're gonna try to make you all black and you try your best." So
Fantastic. That's big support, no? That's big support.
And what got me big was he said, as long as you try your best, and I wasn't trying my best because I was faking that injury, and I felt so bad. So okay, no. So I rang up the trainer again, and I said, maybe try tomorrow. Tomorrow is a better day. I can do it. I went and I passed, and I flew with the sevens, but those are the times I didn't feel had fun and got back to having fun again. The second time was missing when times I missed out on the All Blacks. I was so too busy, so much making. At times I didn't make the All Blacks because my game went down because I was too busy. My head started thinking it was just a normal. Oh, it's another day, another training. Sometimes you're a professional athlete, you get caught into the routines. And it's important that when you go into what I've learned later on is when I came back into making the All Blacks, I didn't think about the All Blacks. I didn't think of the team. I just wanted to enjoy it, have fun. Because sometimes you get too caught up into being too perfect, you lose the fun part of it. And throughout my career, my mid 20s, I was like this because of that. You lose the focus of why do you play it in the first place. And then coming into France, you're coming into France when it's raining and it's snowing and it's hailing, and that's the question you get asked. And the boys say, "How do you have fun?" I was going, "Man, I just appreciate it, because if you start, some boys you see they on the time when the training starts 9 o'clock, they'll be there 5 2. Time training finish, shower, boom, gone." And then you keep doing the same thing over and over. You lose the fun of it, and you treat it as we're gonna start treating it as a job. Not treating it as a passion. So I made sure that every training that we have was fun. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed passing, being with your friends. Because after that, the hard work, yes, hard work still is hard work, but it's less painful as it is because you're enjoying it, doing with your mates. Um, so I remember we had Manu and our team, and we created this positive train. And every time it's raining, and you see boys' heads down, and it's 6 or how many months into the season, you need to tell the boys jump in the positive train because you're gonna be positive today. Just before you go to the training field. And if someone's jumping the head, just pick your head up. Okay, you want to jump on our train? We got the positive train. So we'll make the imaginary train in the warm up.
Imaginary train.
Yeah, walking, the positive train. So we used to say,
How is important to work with your mind? Yeah,
it's important. It's so important, and remind yourself to enjoy it, have fun, smile. If you get drills that you might do over and over I remember we had one drill in racing. We'll do the same drill during the same time of training for 6 months of the year, or maybe 8 months of the year. But you got to learn to train your mental side to say you can do fun things, enjoy it, especially in warm up. Warm up, I reckon, for coaches like me learning to be a coach now, it's warm up is so important, is to remind the guys we're about to have fun. Yes, we're about to work hard and train to our best, but we're reminding ourselves why we do the thing in the first place, why we play rugby. So you have enjoyment drills, a bit of laughter. The boys have expressed themselves for the 10 minutes or whatever.
yeah.
And this when you can bring, okay, it's time to train now. We've had bit of a giggle, now it's time to focus. But sometimes when you go in hard straight away, it's a long training, especially if the season's long.
I saw in this video clip that I were mentioned, where your 6 years kid, he was like escaping and visioning and so on. And I saw your commentary. I liked it a lot because you were like thanking the coaches to let them express, and I liked it a lot because sometimes we coaches we forget that the first thing, most important thing, it is let those kids express themselves. So
that's is so important because especially in a young age, yes, you can develop a little more guidance when they're a bit older. But if they're that age, I see some teams now. I go to some of the weekends and the under 10s and the coaches are just ripping them. They're 10 years old. They're still developing. They're expecting their skill set to be someone that's playing test match rugby. So how do you bring this boy out of his shell to express himself when you've closed him up? You've closed his belief. So it's important that, So I try to remind my boys. My eldest son, he's a big boy. And a lot of expectation goes to him to play rugby. And I know he's not fully into rugby like watching, but he's not fully into it compared to my two young boys.
Yeah, all of three are playing rugby.
There were two. There's just two of the two youngest. So I try to remind them that I think first and foremost you don't have to be a rugby player because of the expectations of dad playing rugby, but you could actually take what dad took into rugby, the same values, the same principles. You can take that to basketball. You can take that to badminton. You can take that to whatever. Doesn't have to be rugby, but you can have the same values and take it to other sports. Keep working, discipline.
Nice.
So
people here
yeah.
commenting and they say, as a player a 10, after listening as a person also a 10. People so amazing player, congratulations, there are a lot. So you are really beloved from people.
Thank you.
They remember you in the pitch and out of the pitch. Nice.
I appreciate your thoughts. Appreciate everyone's thoughts and comments. But yeah,
I have another question that it came from Ben Gibbs. Question for Joe. Watching you play, you always look. No, that was the same. Sorry. You made difficult things look very easy. Do you have any advice for young players working on their individual skills, footwork, kicking, handling, offloading, and so on?
I think is for a young kid is doing your basics really well. Catch, pass, um, doing drills to beating a person, creating opportunities. Your first, if you can do your basic fundamental skills of catch, pass, passing long, passing close, knowing when to pass, knowing when to um, take the ball in. We can get complicated, but the main thing is doing your basic skills really well and repeatedly. Boom, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. You see, example with the All Blacks, do they do much fancy moves? It's not. It's just simple, basic things done over and over and over for 80 minutes, for 85 minutes. For example, so sometimes I help out with the academy boys here, and we do this a move when back ball move when you're number 10 or your first receiver, and there's a guy that runs a short ball and the option to pass at the back. You know, to give the guy that's coming hard or pass at the back. So we'll do that for 5-10 minutes, probably twice a week, and I've done it for 4 months non-stop. And you can see the body language, you know, it's the same thing.
Again.
So I brought them over and I said, do you know why we do this? And goes, yeah, because we, get blah, 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 skill set and knowing when to pass. And goes, no, because when you do it so much with this basic skill, it becomes a habit. So when you're playing, I said, when you're playing in front of 90,000 people and there's pressure coming, there's noise, and you're losing by 1 point or 4 points, you need to score a try. These movements become a habit. So the pressure doesn't matter what pressure you have in front of you, it's instinct. It's not like, oh my gosh, your hands, your movements, your timing, when to run onto the ball goes off. But if you've been training a few months before of doing the same thing with routine, it becomes normal. So it doesn't matter if you play with 100,000 people in front of 2 people, your execution, because of your habits will always be the same. So doing your basics really well, because when you under pressure, you execute the pass or the tackle or the kick 90% of the time than a person that doesn't do repetition during training. So that's just us.
As you told us before, you were in Camp Nou, and at the moment it came out just to clap your hand, to show your hand, because you did it like a million of times in training, and that was.
And sometimes in a captain's run, it's funny because in captain's run, when training captain's run is finished, I was just doing like a warm down, and my warm down is imagining there's a last defender, and I'll get the ball and I'll chip and I'll catch, and sometimes the ball bounces back, or sometimes the ball doesn't bounce back. But it's just processing things in your head when you have time in yourself. The spin thing that came late early on in Italy was playing in the backyard at home, just having fun. And when that situation came, it was me being in the backyard, being back at my house. But remember, as a young boy, raining in New Zealand, and there used to be a park at the back of the house, and I was pissing down with rain, and my mom was yelling for me to come home for lunch, and I wouldn't listen. And I'd be running with I'll have this ball, and I would just kick, catch, step. I'm stepping trees because I had no one to play with. So I'm imagining scoring the last try. I was about 12 years old, 11 years old. I still remember my mum always reminds me. So things like that, you just visualize situations and you practice, and next thing you know, a few years down the track, it's in front of you. It's happening.
Okay. For example, when we interview 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago, Guillaume Guirado, he told us the same thing. He told us for the young kids, take a ball, go outside, imagine that you are in a big stadium and just make work your mind. And then if you put the work, it will become real.
Yeah, and that's it. And the more you think about it, sometimes you see your kids here and they're imagining about stuff. Let kids be kids. Let them use the imagination. I see now my sons don't like doing normal passes. Every pass is an offload pass.
Nice.
No. Just come back to your basics. That's later. Don't learn that now, okay? You just come. No, we want to do this pass because we watch it on TV,
It's so too much Sonny Bill Williams, yeah?
Too much Nakarawa because they Nakarawas over here. So, but you can see them practicing and learning. But I try to remind my boys, come back to your basics, and then you'll develop other stuff. If you can't do your basic stuff properly, then you'll struggle later on.
Nice. Joe, are you enjoying now this process for coaching? You told me that you are learning how to coach. So where, in Racing?
And racing, yeah. Learning is a big, it's been a good experience because I'm more respect of what these coaches go through,
But where are you involved? In which age group or?
I deal with my role is they work with centered information, so all the between under 17s to the under 23s go during the week to do skills or back. I was meant to do skills or some drills with them, and then the actual backs coach from the academy team wanted me full time. So I said I'm not meant to be really full time, but I'll put myself there because it's something I haven't done before. It'd be a good experience. And took them after a while. Then I ended up as being doing back attack, back defense. Excuse me, and rugby sevens for the team here. So yeah, it's more development and just trying to get young boys and trying to tweak them a bit and share information when information is needed. It's not always that. If you need it, I'll share it. If he doesn't, just leave him. So that's my role.
But is coaching something that you see yourself in the future, like a top level and so on?
Yeah, I think so. My whole goal behind it was just learning the principle of coaching and organization and how to be. It's full respect in how these guys, the planning is massive. Organizing players, injured players, development players, recruiting players, and my whole thing was dealing with this. And later on, if a few years, I don't know how many years down the track, 3 years to show to give a bit of experience and teaching back home. But I would love to get a taste of coaching. Like a back coach or a technical coach for a bigger team in the near future. I wasn't there in the beginning, but it's more a big drive now after having a taste of coaching. But really, my whole thing, philosophy, and this is just trying to get not only grow young boys or men, or young boys or young girls to be great players and see them grow and see them be good people off the field as well. Because we have big roles as coaches, as you know. It's not only on the field, but you're like different father to these or the girls, for example. We have a big responsibility. So that's my drive is just ambition. Yeah, is doing that better on. So it's been a good experience so far, and we'll be starting soon. And looking forward to the young boys.
Nice. The time went so fast. I thanks so much, really, Joe, for giving us your time, your tips,
More.
your suggestion, your experience. There are, of course, 1 million of other things I was like planning to ask you, but okay, maybe we can repeat it sometimes. But it was
More.
really so fun. Yeah, but before to let you, I have my last questions too
Yep.
that I every time do to everyone. So so I will do it to you as well. So first, it is like to grow with those circle of interview that I'm doing. Um, as Martin suggests us to speak with you, maybe you can suggest us to speak with someone who you think it is really interesting to speak with.
Okay. Okay. I found a good mate of mine. Then and see what he's a busy man, but he's playing here in France. But I'm sure I'll get him on board and come and do an interview.
Okay, nice. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. And the last one, it is basically we didn't spoke about your playing career in the All Blacks and in Blues and in Racing and Bayonne. We spoke about other things, but I think there is already a lot of that well known. You are a really popular person, a superstar in rugby. But what is the best moment if you have to pick one? Your best rugby moment. It is hard, but one. If you have to pick one, your best
Uh,
rugby memory.
wow, that is a tough one. Um, I think my best rugby memory on yeah, I guess it's my test match. First test match. Um, I think the night before, my best rugby memory. Okay, this is not actually on the field, but off the field is me getting my rugby jersey for the first time, my All Black jersey, and seeing. Remember, we had jersey presentation, and I took it back to her. We get to take her to our rooms before dinner, and I just remember receiving that, and obviously went to my room. I had a moment to myself and reflect. Wow, you know, all the players in front of me. Says my name and test match, but the thing on the front was I remember just going through all the sacrifice that my parents had gone through for me to get this jersey. And throughout the hard work, dropping me at 5 o'clock in the morning, few Ks, and made me run back home as a kid. Um, Fundraising because I really didn't have no much money in our family when we went on tours to help me. So all of that, just seeing that moment, that black jersey was all the result of help and support, and then turning the jersey and you see jersey number there, and it's the last person that wore the jersey was John Olomu, So it's like wow, another expectation. This person now it's your turn. It's your turn to carry his legacy, and how can you create the same standard as this person? And there was a challenge, and I still remember looking at it. I was like, wow, now I have to try to keep up to his standard and carry it on. That's the best memory of seeing that, getting the jersey, looking on the jersey from up front and seeing what the sacrifice the hard work has gone through, and turning it over and seeing which players have played before me, and having to step up and to move that jersey up again and leaving, like we said in the All Blacks, leaving it in a better place as the person that put it before you. So that'd be my best memory.
Very nice. Very nice, very nice that you mentioned the night before the game, that moment, the symbolism. It is really, really nice because everyone could think about a match, a cup, I don't know, but that's, I think, the real aim of the game.
Yeah, and
And I
that's
think you kept very good with the legacy of John Alomo because you were like All Blacks, one of the most try scorer in the histories, and I think that we had a lot of fun watching you playing rugby, and I want to thank you for that. Really, I want to thank you for that.
I'm good everyone had fun and everyone that watched. I hope young viewers there will get inspired to still enjoy and have fun. It's all about the community. It's all about their family. It's all about that brotherhood or their sisterhood that we create in rugby, and the best memories is going to train, doing hard work, but with the people that you care about, which is awesome. So that's rugby, and it's good to talk to a rugby family there, wherever they may be watching. And if you're new to rugby, you just got a bit of a taste of it, and I hope you get to enjoy a bit more.
Thanks so much, Joe. And if you come by through Barcelona, just tell me. I will be more than happy to show you the city, to have a beer with you, to
Thank you
bring
very
you
much.
to the club.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for this opportunity to actually get to speak to other people from the other side, especially there in Spain and wherever, maybe in Italy or elsewhere in Europe. Just an opportunity to say thank you. Really, you don't get to say thank you to everyone in your career most of the time because everyone's all over the world. But it's a great platform to show my appreciation of for everyone's support these past few years, and thank you again. Gracias.
Yeah, gracias to a ti. Thank you so much. Ciao, Joe.
Thank you, brother. Take care then.
Thanks.
Bye.